What's up, internet? How's it going? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be walking you guys through how to build a basic MCP server with Python. So this was actually the guide that I used when I first created my first MCP server. I'm going to be dropping the link to this in the description of the video so you guys can check it out. So before you dive into this, I would suggest kind of looking through what is an MCP and why should you care, stuff like that. You did a good job with this article, but where we're going to start is step 1, installing UV. So since this command is more only for Unix devices, what you're going to have to do is go to the GitHub for UV, and then you can use this PowerShell command right here to install it. Great. Now that you have UV installed, you should be able to type in UV version, and then there you go. You can see it right there. Great. So the next step is going to be creating the project. So let's go ahead and make the project folder. So we'll do UV initialize mix server. And then awesome, now we have the project, and then we're gonna go ahead and CD into it. Cool, so now we're into it. All right, so as you guys can see, I moved over to VSC, so now we have this open, and then we're going to start by creating the virtual environment. So now as you can see, the virtual environment has been created, and it says to activate, we're just going to run venv /scripts /activate. Cool, so now you can see that we are actually in the virtual environment because of this right here. Now the next step as shown is to add required dependencies, so we can pretty much just copy and paste this entire thing here. And there we go, now these are going to install. Alright, so next step is going to be creating the folders. So as you can see, they have the data, tools, and utils, so let's go ahead and we'll add data, and then we'll go ahead and add another one for tools. And then we'll go ahead and add a third for utils. Great. And then finally, we're also going to create the actual server, which we're going to name server.py. So we can just do this. Cool. And then going through the steps here, step 1 is creating the data folder. We already have that. Step 2 is creating a sample CSV file. So we can just go ahead in the data and we can do new file, and we'll just write sample CSV. Beautiful. And then paste the following into it. So we're just going to go ahead and paste that just like that. Sweet. Next, what we're going to do, and this is an optional step, but we're going to convert the CSV to Parquet, which is just another way that it can read it. So it wants us to create generate underscore parquet.py, and I might be saying this wrong. I probably am. And then you can just copy this in just like that. And then it's going to ask us to actually run the script right here. So we should be able to see it. And then we're going to do UV run generate Parquet. Awesome. And then just like that, we're going to see we have the sample Parquet right here. I just looked it up. It's Parquet. So I definitely was botching that. Apologies. Anyways, the next step is going to be creating the utility module. So as you can see right here, it is called filereader.py inside of the utils. So let's go ahead and we'll do filereader.py. Beautiful. And then inside, we're going to import everything right here. I'll just do that. We can keep this in as well. And awesome. Cool. So this is all set up correctly. We're going to save that. And then it's saying right here how this works. So we're using pandas to read the CSV and Parquet files. It's known as data analysis libraries in Python. And then obviously, it's going to return a simple string like this. Great. So with this filereader.py, we have pretty much everything we need in terms of the base files, like in the data and utils. The next we're going to do is actually define the MCP server instance. So open your server.py and main.py files, and then add the following. So in server.py, what we're going to do is we're going to exactly copy and paste as we've been doing for everything here. And then same thing for the main.py. Looks like it actually already has something similar, but we're just going to go ahead and copy and paste over that. Awesome. So the next step is to actually create the tools. So the first tool we're going to do is csvtools.py. We can go ahead in here and create that new folder and the new file. And then we're going to add all of this into it. So again, a lot of copy and pasting today, just like that. Next, we have the Parquet tool. And again, same thing here. We're just going to copy the actual file name here and create a new file. And then we're going to copy in this stuff. Cool. Next is going to be registering the tools. So this is how the MCP server can see the tools. So let's go ahead and do that. So in the main.py, we're going to make sure that we add these. Oh, sorry, in the server.py. So let's head over to server, and then we're going to simply add these imports. So import tools.csv. Great. Oops, did not mean to run that. And then we're going to import tools dot this one. Awesome. Cool. And then next is going to be actually running the server. So let me open up LM Studio and then we'll start that. All right, so when trying to start the server, I was having a little bit of a circular import problem with the MCP, so I had to go ahead and create just an MCP instance file and then just pull all of the instances from this. I can post the actual full code to GitHub if you guys want to check this out for Windows devices. But anyways, the next command is just going to be running main.py. And then once you see this, you know the server is running. And then what we can do is we can head over to LM Studio and actually import this, and then we can actually use it. All right, cool. So we still have the server running, as you can see right here. And then back here, we have LM Studio actually open. So what you're going to do is go to the chat tab, make sure you already have a few models ready. And then what we're going to do is click on the right bar right here, program, and then install, and then we're going to edit the MCP JSON. So as you can see right here, this is what you would want to do. I'm putting in something a little custom just because I was having issues with UV, so it's pulling the actual program from there. But then you can go ahead and save this, and then right here you're going to see the mix server is going to load, and we can actually see our two tools. So the last few steps here is going to be loading a model. I'll use Qwen3 4 billion because this is a great model that I use all the time. I'm going to go ahead and head over to program. I'm going to turn on the MCP server, and now we're going to have summarize CSV file and then summarize Parquet file. What we're going to do is use the summarize CSV file. So we can just start by saying use the summarize CSV file for sample.csv in the data folder. So we'll do this and we'll see if the assistant will get it. It should. It's going to ask if we want to proceed with this file. And boom, there we go. We got the output we were expecting, which is 5 rows and 4 columns. And just to verify that this was the output we were expecting, you got CSV file sample has 5 rows and 4 columns. And then over here, CSV file has 5 rows and 4 columns. So that was kind of the overall introduction to how to set up a basic MCP server and then connect it with LM Studio in your local model. So that'll be it for today's video. Thank you guys for all the support, and I'll see you in the next one.